Dmitry Zhilinsky, 1927 to 2015, was a permanent Soviet and Russian painter, widely regarded as one of the foremost figures in Russian realist art during the 20th century. His works combined elements of classical Russian painting tradition with modernist influences, earning him recognition for his unique style that bridged traditional realism and more contemporary artistic approaches. Zhilinsky's art is characterized by its monumental forms, deep physiological depth, and the frequent incorporation of historical and cultural motifs from Russian history, folklore, and Orthodox Christianity. Zhilinsky was born on 2nd May 1927 in Sochi, Russia, to an intellectual family. As a child, Zhilinsky was surrounded by cultural and intellectual discussion, which helped to shape his worldwide and interest in art from an early age. He showed a natural aptitude for drawing and in 1944 moved to Moscow to pursue formal education in the arts. In 1944, Zhilinsky entered the Moscow Secondary Art School, where he studied under some of the leading Soviet art educators. His teachers included permanent figures such as Alexander Danica and Alexander Osmarkin, who were instrumental in shaping his artistic direction. Zelensky's early exposure to Soviet academic realism, coupled with his own interest in European Renaissance art, laid the foundation for his later work, which was deeply rooted in the classical tradition of paintings. In 1951, Zelensky enrolled at the Surikov Art Institute in Moscow, one of the premier art academies in the Soviet Union. While at the institute, he continued to study under renowned artists and developed a strong technical proficiency in painting. However, Zelensky was not content to simply adhere to the rigid formulae of Soviet socialist realism, which was the dominant style at the time. Instead, he sought to create a more personal and symbolic approach to realism, incorporating influences from Russian icon paintings, Byzantine art, the Renaissance masters such as Piero della Francesca and Giotto. By the 1960s, Zelensky had begun to develop his own distinctive style. His painting from his period often featured large, monumental figures depicted with a scene of stillness and introspection. The use of color, luminous colors, and precious, almost sculptural form become hallmarks of his work. Zelensky's figures were not merely realistic portraits but imbued with a scene of timelessness, evoking a connection between contemporary Russian life and its historical and spiritual past. Zelensky's art is notable for its use of allegory and symbolism. He frequently drew upon Russian history and folklore as well as Christian iconography to create works that spoke to both personal and collective experience. Many of his paintings, such as The Road of Kulikovo 1980, address themes of national identity, historical memory, and spiritual transcendence. His work also reflected his personal search